We are live indeed, and we are joined by, of course, Looi Joubert in the past. Hi, Looi. Good morning.
Morning.
And we've got Alvin Looi as well, who's joining us as well as Alvin. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thanks, Lois, for having me.
Great to have you here. And Shaz Suhaimi, thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure's mine.
Looi, great to have you here, Shaz. And Looi, you've been with us online before. I'm going to let you introduce yourself a little bit more, and we'll let everyone introduce themselves and give a little bit of background in terms of what they've been doing in the fitness space and the corporate space as well, before we get stuck into the discussions.
Sure, thank you. So my name is Looi Joubert. I'm the Managing Director for FitWorks Fitness Centers. So we run commercial fitness centers as well as corporate fitness centers, where we set up and manage fitness centers for multinational companies and local conglomerates. And we also recently set up an online fitness space called Ignite. So we've been in the Malaysian fitness industry now for 10 years, and I have about 21 years collective fitness industry experience. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Looi. Over to you, Alvin. We're saving Shaz for last, if you don't mind, Shaz.
No worries.
Okay. I'm Alvin, of course. I'm HR manager. Prior to, I'm now working for a digital marketing company called Webclo Sdn Bhd. Prior to that, I have spent 15 years in the fitness industry as well. I worked as a group exercise manager. I arranged classes. I did schedule for the members, and then subsequently I also became a HR manager in the fitness industry before I decided to venture out and try new things. Yeah.
And what's your area? What kind of exercise do you? What's your thing?
Group exercise. Basically, the Les Mills program, like body pump, body combat, RPM. Yeah, all that.
Okay, cool.
But cool. I guess
okay,
I can say that I'm retired now.
Retired.
Okay, hi.
You, Shaz, yeah.
You compared to the two boys, I'm still a baby in the fitness industry. Only I think I started venturing into fitness 5-6 years now. Before this, 12 years in the corporate line. So yeah, I've seen quite a fair bit of fitness while I was working, and also I decided to make a total switch into what I love doing, which is full-time fitness right now. So now I'm with FitWorks. I'm heading the Ignite, our online platform, and I also do teach. For me, my thing would be dance fitness. So I started out with Zumba, and I did a bit of UJam, and now I'm doing Sensation Fitness. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for that, guys. And Shaz, we tell my Cobrats coaches T-shirt today because I'm into things like rugby and cricket and fencing and all those kind of good stuff. But really, Looi, I was reading an article recently in the of all places, the Harvard Business Review, and I was like, there was this thing about fitness, productivity, keeping people happy, all kinds of wow, this is like almost a utopian approach. And it's kind of says to me, what you guys are doing in terms of fitness and corporate fitness is actually very important for corporations and their productivity. But when we talk about corporate fitness, why is it important, and what is it really?
Well, corporate fitness really is a part of a corporate wellness program that companies run, and I think is more prevalent in the bigger companies and multinational companies, where they've realized, especially if you have a big workforce, they realize that if our workforce is happier, healthier, they become more more productive. So for those of you that do work out, you know the feeling. Even from day one, workout one, your stress levels go down, your energy levels increase, you feel better, you feel good about yourself, and that makes you want to be better and do more. So really, corporate fitness is something that companies are now bringing into the workplace. And it was previously where the big companies would possibly set up a corporate gym, a staff gym on the premise if they had enough staff, or they would give a certain amount of allowance for staff to go and join a gym. But that's sort of where it ended in the past, and it has developed really in the last 5 or 10 years, where not only do they set up a gym on site, but they also have a company managing the gym on site, offering programs on site. Not only do they give an allowance to join a gym, but they also want feedback reports from that gym. Is my staff really using it? What are they doing with the money? Are they buying personal training? Are they just clocking in and clocking out for points? So yeah, it's become more and more important as time's gone by in the last 5 to 10 years.
Nice. I'm gonna ask you more about that monitoring part and the data part as well, because I think a lot of corporations have started to wake up to this kind of data reality of managing teams and stuff. So Alvin, you experience in the HR department. What have you seen in terms of productivity? When we talk about that productivity angle, how do you measure it? What do you see, and where are we going with this?
From my perspective is you can, unfortunately in Malaysia we don't have that data to measure the success of all these things. But what I do know is based on the experience that I have when I was working in the gym industry, is that I do notice that people who come in to exercise, at the end of the day, they actually feel better. We have a lot of people who come in the morning that they attend the basic class of even a simple class of yoga or stretching. Once they finish the class, they are recharged, they are fresh. You don't go to work with a zero. You come out with the energy after your workout, and you see that they feel happy and they go to work. You start the day on a positive note. I think that's what we are looking at. And if you have people who exercise in the morning, and for my own personal experience, is like today I just finished a 10 km run, and I am alert. I'm ready for this meeting. I think I would have been very, tired, or still trying to get into the weekend, and it will actually affect my mood for this. But today I'm alert and I'm ready. So I think that is most important for an employee to have a routine exercise. It may not be a morning thing, but it'll be good to have a consistent program for your employees to work that way.
Mm-hmm. Shaz, I wanted to get you into the discussion as well, and we look at what's been happening with COVID-19. Looi was talking about company gyms and all this kind of stuff. They're kind of shut for now. How do we deal with that problem, and what do you see as kind of a way forward with that?
Currently, what I see with the people who usually work out, my friends from the industry, the corporate industry, I think some companies are engaging freelance instructors to run online classes, but it's not a structured program. It's just a once off or once a week kind of a class for the employees to join if they want to join it. Even then, I think they're only about starting now. I just did a quick crowdsourcing question yesterday over my Instagram. I said, "Is any of you working out during this lockdown, or is your company actually doing something to make sure that you're actually working out?" And surprisingly, those people in the big companies that I know, they said sadly no. Currently, the focus is not on employee fitness, which is a sad thing. So basically, employees now are in a way forced to manage their own health and fitness. So I think it's good that if a company can actually streamline or try to come up with an initiative for their employees to at least have a regular workout, as Alvin mentioned, so that they can actually function a bit more efficiently at home while they're being in lockdown.
We see a couple of questions have come in. Thank you, Aisha. She asked a kind of interesting question about company morale. We've seen morale getting hammered recently. I just want to throw it out there to everyone. What have you guys seen with those people who are in your programs? Has morale been maintained or improved during this time? Somehow, Looi, you've been muted.
Sorry,
okay, there we go.
I'm unmuted. Okay,
yeah.
So company morale. Yeah, I mean, we are a lot of people are working from home. Almost everybody's working from home now. We don't see each other. We don't meet each other. So there's no high fives like we used to do in 2019. We do fist bumps now. There's a lot less of that, and that definitely has an effect on mood. And we are social animals. We want to interact. But what we see with our programs now is the companies that we engage that come together as a company to work out. They see their friends on screen, working out with them on screen. And that sort of gives them a little bit of a feeling of togetherness and a feeling of community, which helps the morale as well. Again, if your company is willing to invest in some kind of a wellness program for you, it makes you also feel a little bit appreciated and that the company thinks about you and your well-being. So I think all of this makes a difference. If you're just out there and your company is on your back, trying to get the best out of you, and you at home we tend to have more bad habits, eating worse, taking more breaks. So all these things will eventually add to feeling lethargic, low energy, etc., which also brings down your morale and your mood, I would say. I think Alvin, and even at home or at work, I think Alvin maybe has a bit to tell us about absenteeism, presenteeism, healthcare costs, etc., around this topic.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we all know that exercise is good. We all know that it's good for you, for your employees. But a lot of times we don't really have the numbers. We don't have the research numbers. But what I just casually went online to search was there was this research done by let me see, this university can find it. Well, this two person did a survey on improved health behaviors persist over 2 years for employees in the worksite wellness program. It was a wellness program for 2 years, and they were looking at what are the behavior changes that happens over the last 2 years if they have them take up a 2-year training. So what happened is they look at the exercise, how the routine, how often they do it. They look at their diet. They look at the sleep, the quality of the sleep they have, smoking, whether they smoke more or less, and overall stress, depression, everything. They look at that. And then what happened is over the last 2 years when they did the test and research, they found that from baseline to year 1, there was a slight improvement. And from year 1 to year 2, the improvement also increased. So it shows that if your company gives you a wellness program, in general, you will see that your employees will have a better quality of life. It's not just about productivity at work, it's also about quality of life. They exercise more, they eat healthier, the servings for fruits and vegetables actually increased. Quality of sleep got better. Smoking dropped just a little bit, not so significant. Alcohol, not so significant, but the rest actually went up a little bit better compared to those negative bad habits that you have. So that's the first one they look at, and that's why I think it's important. But with that in mind, if your people are healthier, of course it will affect your productivity in a good way, because of course there'll be less people going to see doctors, there'll be less absenteeism, and there was another research done. They were looking at predicted versus actual medical costs for a district at this place. So what they measured was from 2009 to 2011, the costs for the medicals actually were going steadily uphill. So they were drawing a predicted line that for the next 3-4 years, from 2011 to 2014, they will actually go up and up. But during that year, 2011, they actually started a wellness program. And what the company discovered was that the medical costs actually went down. In fact, in 2014, I have a chart here I can't share, but the 2014 cost of medical costs is the same as 2009. So even though 2009 it went up to higher in 2011, but after that, after the wellness program began, the cost went down again. So it is a very good thing. It's a very good sign that you need to have, it's important to have a wellness program here. And then another aspect that I want to talk about is, I think because of our condition now, we are looking at, we can't go out to meet our friends, and like Louis said, we are social animals, and it's a struggle when we don't see people, we don't see everything. So in a way, we get stressful at work, and our home is our workplace now. So where do we go to de-stress? So there was an article printed. Let's see, where is it? It was done by it was a research done by a psychologist, Sarah Pressman, University of Kansas. So they asked 1,400 adults about what things they do to de-stress and things like that. So she came up with 4 things how we de-stress. Number 1, socializing. Number 2, quiet time. Number 3, communing with nature. And number 4, sports, exercise. Now, with this current pandemic situation, socializing, we can't do that. Quiet time, we are at home. Do we actually have our own quiet time? Is it easy to find quiet time when sometimes we can't even differentiate when it's our off day, when it's our work day. And definitely we can't go out as easy as those days where we can communicate, we can go and enjoy the trees, the park and the view, everything. So, and then we can't exercise, we can't go to the gym, so we can just only exercise on our own at home, things like that. So I think online classes can become very helpful. And this also comes from my own personal experience. When the first MCO was called, 2020, March, a friend of mine suggested, hey, Alvin, why don't you just organize a class for us to exercise, So we gathered a few people, my friend, my wife's friends, and things like that. And eventually, we started the class 2 days after the MCO. And I'm happy to say that up to now, we are still meeting 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, to exercise together. And we have sort of formed a community. We connect with one another. Previously, we don't have a group chat. Now, I think late last year, I started a group chat for all of them, the regulars. So we share things. We talk about politics. We talk about vaccinations. We share a bit about sports stuff, activities, and we do share that kind of bond. And it feels good that even though we are not physically able to meet with people, but we still can have some form of connection. And then in the office context for the corporation, for the corporate side, when we are online, when we have con call, it's all work. I think there is a missing link to connect the people. We may need to take time off. We need to have intentionally set a time out of that week for the employees to come together to do things together apart from work. That I think is very important. Yeah, thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you. Louis, I've got a question for you, but before I get to that question, I want to ask Shaz one thing. You've been smiling the entire time, and it's kind of like, how is this possible? And Alvin was talking about lack of sleep, and I think the corporate world is a kind of minefield for people getting a lack of sleep. Happiness, exercise, sleep. Talk to us about that.
Am I now on? Just now my mic was muted. Happiness, work and sleep. Basically, sleep is a very important component to keep healthy. People don't see that actually. A lot of people actually think that when it comes to health, is basically just exercise and diet. They fail to realize that stress management and sleep, good quality sleep, will actually help you be healthier. So yes, you're right. Corporate life, depending on the work that you do, it's very hard to get that balance, and especially now that we are in lockdown. Like Alvin mentioned, you don't know when is your off day, when is your off time. You're working literally almost 24/7. Now that you're at home, there's no differentiation line where, okay, this is when my work stops. So some people will work through the night. It's not uncommon, even before the lockdown, people do work through the night. Yeah, sleep is extremely important. It's something that the person needs to prioritize. They actually have to make it a point to rest, shut down, and just rest. Take some quiet time if we can find it. Just lock yourself up in your room, in the dark room, for about 30 minutes a day or something, and see where you go. You actually feel better after, like, it's sort of like a power nap. You take a power nap during the day, you will actually feel recharged, and you feel much much better. So it's actually a personal thing that you need to do for yourself. You need to prioritize that. Sleep is important. Apart from, of course, working out and a good diet. Good diet.
Got it. Got it. Now, Louis, thank you, Shaz. Really insightful. Now, Louis, we know that you've really pioneered this program, Ignite, and I know we've got some footage here as well. But while if we can have a look at that at the same time, while we look at corporations like control, businesses like control, businesses like things to be managed. How do we get that part right at the same time where Alvin was talking about the community part and where Shaz was talking about the happiness? How do we put all this together?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And this was something that we struggled with before we set up Ignite. That was one of the big questions we had, is how are we going to give corporates the feedback that they need? Because as you see on the screen now, the workouts, you saw the community together. This is a program that we did for a local junior rugby club, Cobra, which Norden is a coach, by the way. I'm also a coach. So you can see the community and you can feel the community when everybody is online like this. There's 40 plus kids with their parents online working out together. The beauty about the platform that we are on now, the platform's called Glow Fox, is we can give the corporates usage stats. We can give the corporates feedback on who's participating in which programs and how often they participate. So for instance, if a corporate actually invests in Ignite, which is the online wellness program, we can give them this feedback and they can really see the return on investment, which obviously you see corporates, I think they view these things differently to the employees. The employees view it from a point of view of, what am I going to get out of this? What's in it for me? The corporates are looking from the other way and see how much am I going to pay and what am I going to get out of this? So we try and marry these two and give the corporate, the management side of the corporates, the data that they need, and also make it fun and interactive for the employees and for the kids in this example.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, cool. No, I'm looking for. I think we have a session today, Cobra.
10:30, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm already dressed. It's. I mean, I think this key thing around community is important, and I think Alvin, he was talking about the rising cost of healthcare. And this is only going to go up. For me, from my crisis management perspective, I'm thinking a healthier workforce is less likely to have a heart attack. A healthier workforce is less likely to have all kinds of other problems. And mental alertness on the job when you're in a critical position, I think is more and more important. I think you need to go and see the people at the airports, and make sure that the traffic control guys are fit and healthy and alert. These kind of areas may be areas that corporations can then look at. Alvin, coming back to this kind of corporate challenge, what are some of the barriers that the corporate sector needs to kind of get over in your experience as a HR manager? What did they, for the HR managers out there, what should they think about in terms of get over this barrier, get over this challenge so that you can start to help your people a little bit better?
I think the biggest challenge is to get the stakeholders to get their buy-ins. Like what Louis says, they want to know what they're getting out of it. A lot of times we look at an employee is, you are our employee, you're supposed to be productive, you are supposed to do your job, and blah blah blah. So the performance of the team or an employee is based on what the person does for his work, for his or her work for the year. So if you do if your company, your bosses are just looking at the numbers and getting all your results, your KPIs, hitting your KPIs, and then it can be a bit challenging for HR side to convince people to do it. Because all these initiatives, if there's no support from the top management, it is very, very hard to do it. If you have, let's say that the HR, if the boss says, okay, Alvin, go ahead and do it, and I organize the activity. If it's just go ahead and do it, and there's no strong support from the team, from the top management, it could be it becomes a voluntary activity. For example, those days when they gave free membership to employees who join the gym, you pay for it, but it's not compulsory. So as employee, if I am active, I will take it. But someone who is not active, who doesn't see the value of it, will just okay, thanks, but no thanks. And so I think if the company is serious about it, if the boss, decision maker is serious about it, then they have to be the one that is pushing it as well. You cannot depend on just a HR person or another person in charge to run it. The leadership must be committed to making the change. That is what I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Shaz, thank you, Alvin. Shaz, I want to put you on the spot again. You've been in organizations where exercise is part of the game plan for the workforce. How does that make you feel?
I was actually quite happy with the company's decision to, in a way, enforce exercise on the employees. But again, it's not. We had a separate program that was compulsory. So we did a health fair, and then they identified those who were obese or morbidly obese, and they actually had a fitness program tailored for these people. So it was actually put in their KPI that they have to complete this 3-month program. 3 months, yes, 3 months program. And there was constant monitoring from the HR side or the team who's managing this wellness program. Apart from that, all the other initiatives that they put forward, like the group classes, and there's a fully equipped gym where I worked before. It's always there for anyone to join to go work out. We have squash courts, badminton courts. Basically, you can just go down and play. But in terms of the take-up rate, like Alvin mentioned, those who are active will take it up. Will go for the exercise classes. Will work out at the gym. Personally, my 12 years at that company, I only saw the gym on my 6th year, because the first 6 I was not initiated to actually work out. So it boils down to the individual employee themselves as well. You need to get buy-in from all stakeholders, so not just the bosses, but also from the employees themselves. So when you come up with a wellness program or a fitness initiative or a wellness initiative, you need to get buy-in from everybody, not just the bosses.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Shaz. Louis, we got another question that just came in around psychological health. staying focused, staying committed, and this kind of sphere of reality. And Shaz also touched on something I thought which was very important: employees that are really overweight and obese. It's a threat to the organization. It's also, for me, it's a threat to someone's long-term career prospects. Can you design a program that is kind of two speed? One for those who are health exercise challenged, maybe, and those who are more of in that middle part of the curve. What can you guys do?
Absolutely. And Ms. Siti, thanks for your question. Let me answer Norden, and then we're going to answer your question. We'll handle your question after that. Norden, actually, the company that Shaz worked for before she worked for us, FitWorks was the one that designed the 3-month program for the obese staff for this company. It's one of the major banks in Malaysia. We're not allowed to mention their names publicly, but I think you can imagine which one it is. It is the big one. It all started because they had an employee that died at his table from a heart attack at his table while he was at work. So, this had a massive effect on the employees working around him and the people that knew him. And although they had a gym on site, and although they had existing group exercise classes, this group of people, that we call them the high risk group of people, who are the obese and morbidly obese people, are the ones that don't go to the gym. So you have those that are already fit, continuing being fit, and that you have those that are very unhealthy that don't engage. And the reasons why they don't engage is one of the number one issues is fear. They are scared. They don't know how to start. They don't know where to start. Who's going to laugh at me? I don't belong. I have to compete with that group of people that look good already. So what we did is we worked on a 3-month program. Actually, this corporation was very smart in the way they approached it. They made everybody that was over a certain BMI, they made it compulsory for them. If you want to maintain your health benefits, and this conglomerate has the best health benefits of the best in Malaysia for them, their employee and their family. If you want to maintain your health benefits, if you want us to pay for your health insurance, you will go through this program for 3 months. And it's a monitored program, and you will complete the program. And that is the motivation they had. We will pay for your health insurance, but you have to do your part. And 80% of those that participated saw results. 80%, 8 out of 10. You compare that to a commercial gym. You have 30% of the members that are active users. Here we had 80% because it was done right from the beginning. We took the measurements. We had a proper health talk for them. We explained to them how to eat. We got a coach to help them when they even go shopping at the supermarket. There was a WhatsApp group for them to say, take a picture of this slab of butter. Is this slab of butter better, or is that slab of butter better? It was at that level, and the company engaged us to operate and monitor at that level. I'll just tell a very quick success story. One of our first groups, there was a guy, he was 46 years old. 46 is not old. Maybe when you're 20, you think 46 is old. 46 is not old. He came to work walking with a walking stick every day. His back was crooked. He was very unhealthy. And they although he was not obese, he had so many health concerns that they brought him into the group. And after the 3 months, he came walking onto the stage to give a testimony. He'd lost 9 kilos. And he took the walking stick and he threw it from the stage. He said, that's the last time I'll ever use the stick. And he walked down without the stick. He was walking without the stick for a month or so before, but he just came to make a point. He doesn't use a walking stick anymore. So it's not just about losing weight. It is about overall wellness. So that is to answer you, Norden. If we can come back to Ms. Siti, how does working from home affect psychological health? What can employers do to make sure that people stay focused, committed, and happy? Like I said in the previous talk we had with Norden, there's a lady called Wendy Suzuki, who's a professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of New York. She said exercise is the most transformative thing that you can do for your brain. It increases the neurotransmitters, the endorphin, serotonin, noradrenaline, All of these are the feel-good hormones and the hormones that has to do with mood, concentration, feel good, improves the ability to focus, and also not just to focus, but to shift between focus areas. Especially us working from home now, we have focus areas, right? Especially if you're a mother. You're focusing on your kids' online school, you also have to work. Sometimes we are busy on 2 screens. So workouts actually help you, the release of those hormones help you to focus between these shifts as well. And they said even from your first workout, even if you're someone that does not work out, from your first workout for the next 2 hours, you have an increased capacity to make those shifts between focus areas. That's one. Number 2, it also improves and increases the capacity of the frontal cortex and the hippocampus. Now, these are the 2 areas that's related, that is the most susceptible to neurodegenerative diseases, especially if you get older. So it's not to say that exercise is going to completely help you to avoid something like Alzheimer's, but it will drastically increase your chances of avoiding this. So if we talk about psychological health, exercise absolutely benefits your psychological health. And how can employers do to make sure that they stay focused, committed, and happy? I think Alvin spoke about it earlier, where we really need to get into groups. Since we are all online and we are stuck at home, we need to get into groups where we do things other than work, even with our employees, because between employees, there's certain friendships are built up. And now we're apart. And the only time we see each other is when we work. So, that lunchtime conversation is lost, or that coffee conversation is lost. So maybe there's other things we can do besides work where we can bring the employees in. One of the easiest ones to kick off is getting engaged with someone like us that offer Ignite, where there's a structured workout regime for your company that we can monitor. It's a live class. It is not something that's on demand. Today I want to hop on. If not, I'll just do it tomorrow. No, it's live. So you have to come on for that class at that specific time. Otherwise, you lose out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think we're starting to see kind of this thing develop where there's things around insurance that needs to be considered for HR managers and corporate planners. When we talk about happiness, and Shaz continues to smile, and then how we see this cool platform that needs that, and I think this whole thing is starting to come together. There's cost benefits. There's really a human side to these benefits as well, which is, I think, very, very important. As we actually, it's so fast today, soon, but as we close, I just want to ask one last bite at the cherry for all of you, starting with Shaz. What advice would you give individuals and corporations who are thinking about taking the step in terms of moving towards improving their employees or their own health and get this ball moving?
My advice would actually be just do it. Just get started. Like Looi said, we have this platform now on Ignite that you can actually hop on as an individual or a corporate. So you can actually start working out today, really. Bottom line is just get started. Just do it.
Okay, we don't have any endorsements from Nike, but but we do welcome them. We do welcome them. Alvin, tell us what's your last word for today.
I agree with what Shaz said. Definitely. I think a lot of people also think that when I exercise, it has to be an hour. It has to be half an hour. I think if your company, if you feel that your people may not have the time to commit to 1 hour, you can start small. It can be a 15-minute workout. 15 minutes is a lot for us to work out, actually. Maybe if you join Ignite, I'm sure Looi can design a class that you can finish everything, warm up, cool down everything in 15 minutes. Just for that, you can start that first. Take a small step. You don't have to start 1 hour, and that's how you work. And apart from physical health, those days we talk a lot about physical health, but because we're now stuck at home, it's all about mental health as well. So exercise, it doesn't have to be rigorous. It can be a simple stretching exercise like yoga or Pilates, or even some mindfulness exercise that you can take part in. I think that will be helpful and beneficial for your employees as a whole. Thanks.
Brilliant. Yeah, I know Looi is not only does he help the kids at Cobrats, but the coaches also have benefited from some of his fitness stuff, myself included. So Looi, as the person who brings this all together, tell us what we are looking at here and what should we do moving forward.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I think one of the biggest obstacles to overcome is to break the fear. People are scared. They don't know where to start. They don't know if they're going to get injured if they start. I think it's very important to get onto some kind of a structured routine. Even if you don't engage with us, there's a lot online. Just go and look at the popular ones online, the good ones online, and start somewhere. Like Alvin said, it doesn't have to be a 1 hour workout. It doesn't have to be even a 30-minute workout. Some type of movement, especially if you're a sedentary person, sedentary lifestyle, some sort of movement, anything more than what you're doing now is already a step in the right direction. We always say you only need between 1 to 2% of your life. You only need to spend 1 to 2% of your life and your time on fitness. Do you know how much 1% is, Norden? Is only 1.5 hours a week is 1% of your time. We have 168 hours a week. Spend 1% of your time on fitness. And that's 1.5 hours. That's an excellent place to start. Excellent baseline.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Looi. And I think we're starting to work towards a corporate solution for human-based problems. And I see a lot of things that are coming together with this. And I really appreciate everyone's time today. Shaz, thank you for joining us. Alvin, thank you for joining us. And of course, Looi, for leading the way with this program and the corporate fitness initiative that Ignite is really driving home the benefits for the Malaysian corporate sector and the Malaysian people. So with that, I wanted to thank you all. And we look forward to seeing you on our next edition of the Malay Global Business Forum. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks, Norden.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you.